Now moving on to the December 11th event. Friday night, you have the Ultimate Fighter finale. First of all, I am enjoying this season of the Ultimate Fighter, and I'm very excited to see who the winners are going to be. Those fights are obviously not announced yet because I'm making this video on Sunday night, but I'm hoping to see Juicy J get the win just because he's the last American. But I wouldn't be surprised if like Artem sneaks into the finals because that's Conor McGregor's boy and he's got these like bricks for hands and he just doesn't care. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to the finale, actually. And I'm sure there will be a couple fighters that were on this season fighting as well. So, you have flyweight Jacoby Sanchez. Not really sure if I remember him or not. But right after that, you have heavyweight Gabriel Gonzaga, who's definitely on the decline. But heavyweight's such an old division. You can lose 3 in a row, win 1, win 2, and then you're right back in the mix. So, I'm not really saying that Gabriel Gonzaga's done or anything. I actually probably could get this win, but who knows. Then you have Kawajiri taking on Jason Knight. Should be a fun featherweight scrap. Then you have welterweight Ryan LaFleur taking on Mike Pierce. These guys really don't stand out in my memory bank. But after that, you have the next 3 fights, which are definitely great fights. Great fights. Any one of these fights could be like the opener on, a pay-per-view, or in some cases, a co-main event, or, a main event of a Fox show or something. But you have Joe Lauzon taking on Evan Dunham. Dude, I love Joe Lauzon. He's been one of my favorite fighters for a long time, since Ultimate Fighter Season 5. I just love the kid. I mean, he came into the UFC and knocked out former lightweight champion Jens Pulver, which is just insane to just come into the UFC, then go to the Ultimate Fighter. It's just weird how that played out. In my opinion, the greatest season of the Ultimate Fighter, which was Season 5, which also I think is one of the most deep talent pools that we've seen from the Ultimate Fighter. And Joe Lauzon is a fun, entertaining fighter. He's the bonus king. He's gotten so many bonuses in the UFC because he has this gritty, just, I'm going to do whatever it takes to win. I'm always looking for the finish. I'm not looking for the fight of the night, yet I end up in them, and I'll fight to the best of my ability and always, never give up. I just love his never die attitude. I mean, the Jim Miller fight, I always think back where he drops for a leg lock like late in that. He's trying to, he knows he's down, he's trying to win. He doesn't just coast, and just be like, well, I guess I lost this one. And Joe Lauzon is just such an exciting fighter. It actually hurt me to see him get just destroyed by Michael Johnson technique-wise. But I'm going with Joe Lauzon in this one. Then you have lightweights Edson Barboza taking on Tony Ferguson. Probably could have been one of the greatest fights had Khabib Nurmagomedov stayed in it. It might be it would have been one of my top 4 fights looking forward to this weekend if Khabib stayed in. But we get Edson Barboza, which is definitely a good substitute. I mean, Barboza's fights are always exciting, and Tony Ferguson, El Cucuy, man, I've been saying this for a while, but this guy's on the rise, dude. He was one of the Ultimate Fighter winners, and this is why I hate the negativity towards the Ultimate Fighter, because it lets you get to know these people before they go into the UFC. Yeah, some of them fizz out and get booted, but people like Tony Ferguson, who I watched on The Ultimate Fighter, and it took him a while, it took him a long time to really climb that mountain, but I have always been paying attention to him because I known him from The Ultimate Fighter. And Tony Ferguson, I really do think, got this fight in the bag. Edson didn't look great against Cub Swanson or Max Holloway. Granted, it ended kind of fast, but he didn't look amazing. And I think Tony Ferguson, dude, is one of those dudes who's just gonna be next in line, man. He's coming up and he's hungry. He's exciting. He's technically a beast. His footwork, his movement, his power's good. His mat skills, all great stuff, man. Ferguson's beast. So I'm going with Tony Ferguson. Then you have the featherweight title eliminator, maybe, and that is Frankie Edgar taking on Chad Money Mendez, man. I remember that Chad Mendez Conor McGregor fight. I was so nervous because Chad was kind of doing well, and then he just gassed a little bit and got pieced up, and it was over. But Frankie is my boy. I've been a fan of Frankie Edgar for as long as I can remember. He's definitely in my top 5 favorite fighters. I want him to win so bad, and I want him to be featherweight champion over Conor McGregor. I just love Frankie Edgar. I think that he's like the real life Rocky, and people have said that, and I agree, man. The dude's just cool, calm, just a fighter, and I've always liked him for some reason. Like usually the underdog. I like Frankie. Mendez is just I mean Frankie definitely has the better technique, but Chad Mendez has some freaking power, man, and I feel like if Frankie is just getting a little bit slower with his age, I feel like it could be a rough night for Frankie Edgar. I mean, Frankie Edgar's getting up there, man. So I'm gonna go with Chad Mendez against my love of Frankie Edgar, and I still will be rooting for Frankie Edgar, but Chad Mendez probably will win the fight, and then we probably will see a rematch, regardless of the outcome of the Aldo versus McGregor fight. So that is UFC Fight Night Ultimate Fighter Faber McGregor final. See you guys with the next event.